StrayAllDay.com.
To the show, when you learn the discipline to show up day after day, do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is balancing your professional ambition and self-care. There's a way to balance these? Yes, there is. How? I want to tell you. Before we get started, I'm going to tell you all, I have a daily motivation text that I send out free of charge every single morning to everybody in my text community. This message is guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point to start your day. You want to get this message, so I'm already filling that blank in for you. So let me tell you what to do to get it. Just text me right now, my number, which is 305-384-6894. And every morning when the daily motivation text comes out, because you're a member of my texting community, you'll be receiving that message free of charge every day. You can even respond to that message. You might get a response back from me because I do take time to look through the text and respond to some people every single day. Secondly, Work on Your Game University is the only place where you can get coached by me directly. This is the only place where you can get coached by me on your mindset, your strategy, your systems, and your executions when it comes to your personal and professional life. When you are ready, take your game, your personal game, your business game, your career game to its next level and beyond, and having professional help in doing so and being held accountable to do so, meaning that it's definitely happening. All you got to do is go to WorkOnYourGameUniversity.com and we will tell you exactly what to do to get started. And we make it really, really easy, really, really simple. So simple that even a caveman can do it. And y'all are smarter than cavemen, so go to WorkOnYourGameUniversity.com so you get started with that. All that said, let's get into today's topic, which is balancing professional ambition and self-care. Now, this is for those of you who are extremely ambitious, meaning let's get the definition of the word ambitious, so everyone knows what we're talking about here. Definition of ambitious is, and I've given this definition before, so I should know it. It says having or showing a strong desire and determination to succeed. How many of you have that? I get text messages from people every day who tell me that they have this ambition. They don't use the word ambition, but they tell me that they are very strongly driven to be successful. So if you're very ambitious about your career aspirations, yet at the same time, you understand that you should not sacrifice yourself and your health in the process of going after those ambitions, you may want to know, is there a way, if there is a way, to take care of yourself and quench that thirst of your ambitions at the same time? Is there a way to do both? Yes, there is, and today we're going to talk about what that is, what those ways are, what needs to be in place for you to do this. Let's get into it. Point number one, today's topic once again is balancing your professional ambition and self-care. Number one, understand that you cannot be driven without a vehicle. In other words, you can't drive without a car. All right, this is a metaphor. That means if you're a person who has a strong drive and high ambitions, that's most of you, you need a vehicle that supports that drive. You as a person is the vehicle. You are the vehicle is a better way of saying it. You are the vehicle that will drive you to your ambitions, which means you need to take care of your vehicle in order to be driven. Any of you have a vehicle, a car that you drive on a regular basis? Okay, if you don't take care of that car, then it can't take you where you need to go. If it looks like one of the tires has low tread and you need to replace that tire and you don't replace it, then the tire may eventually just blow out on you, and now you're stuck on the side of the road and you can't even get to where you were trying to get to, simply because you didn't take care of the vehicle. It's the same thing when it comes to yourself. Physically, you got to take care of you. Mentally, spiritually, emotionally, you got to take care of yourself. It means you need to prioritize your mental health, your physical health, your emotional, spiritual, and any other form of health that you know is important to you. Exercise is a form of taking care of yourself. This is a form of taking care of your vehicle. Your nutrition, what are you putting in your body? What are you eating on a regular basis? What are you drinking? What are you not eating and drinking? Your mindset. And going back to what you're eating and drinking, I'll tell you about AG1, the supplement from Athletic Greens. I got a deal with them because this is something that I take. I take AG1 myself every day, 75 vitamins and nutrients into your body that you are not getting from your normal diet, the things that you normally eat. There's a reason why supplements are so popular, folks. The reason why there are entire companies and stores that only sell supplements. What is a supplement? Supplement means extra. They sell these extra things that we can put in our body to replace what we're not getting from the food that we eat. This is one of the things that you can do. So AG1 is one of the simplest things you can do to take care of your physical health every single day, and it literally takes you 5 minutes. That's between scooping the AG1 into a shaker bottle, which they provide, shaking it up with 8 ounces of water, which comes right out of your sink or wherever you want to get your water from, and we'll have something for that coming up very soon, maybe by the time you hear this, and drinking the water, drinking what's in the shaker. And then even if you want to wash the bottle after that, whether you put it in the dishwasher or whatever, you got to use it every day. I just wash mine by hand. All of that takes you literally 5 minutes. Probably takes you less than that. This is a way that you can take care of your nutritional health, at least a piece of what you can do for your nutritional health every single day. Your mindset. I've written a whole bunch of books on getting your mind in the right place every day. Most importantly, the mental workbook. Your overall happiness and spiritual well-being. All of these things need to be prioritized, folks. These are not things these are not nice to have. In the sales world, we have things that are nice to have, and we have things that you absolutely have to have. Taking care of your vehicle, yourself, your person. I'm talking mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. This is not a nice to have. This is a requirement. You have to do these things. As you take care of these and keep them in the places they need to be, you will be in position to do what you need to do professionally. You can't do what you need to do professionally if your body's not in a good space. If your health is failing, your mindset's bad, you're emotionally distraught, you're mentally off, you're not in a position to do anything professionally, at least not at your highest level. I mean, you could do it, but you ain't gonna do it well. And that means you'll probably not come close to reaching your professional ambitions because you're not doing things even at your best level. So if you're not reading between the lines at this point, here it is. Your self-care comes before your professional goals. Just in case anybody was confused as to what I'm saying here. Your self-care comes before your professional goals. Remember that every organization must have a boss. You as a person is the boss of this process. Your professional ambitions are in the passenger seat of the vehicle. How you take care of you as a human is in the driver's seat. Now, it does not mean, just because how you take care of yourself is in the driver's seat, does not mean it needs to take the same amount of time. I don't spend nearly as much time on self-care as I spend doing my professional work on a daily basis. My self-care takes up about 3 hours of my day. My professional work takes anywhere from 8 to 11 hours of my day. All right, so you can just do the math on that. I take much more time on my professional work. However, my self-care is the first thing I do every single day. Why? Because it's a priority. It comes first. Everybody understand what I'm saying here? So when I say it's the balls, it doesn't mean the most time. It means what comes first. Something that comes first might only take you 5 minutes, but you do it first. It's like if you want to do something in your house, you buy some new goods to go into your house. Well, the priority is you got to have your keys so you can unlock the door. Because if you can't unlock the door, you can't bring any of that nice furniture or rugs or whatever you bought for the house. You can't put it in the house if you don't unlock the door. The priority is opening the door. You got to have the keys. That takes 2 seconds. Everything else might take 10 weeks, but you got to open the door first. Your professional ambitions are in the passenger seat. Again, not the same amount of time. It's just the first thing on the calendar. First thing that you need to be doing. It doesn't mean you got to be the first thing you do in the day like me. It could be something that you do in the middle of the day or at the end of the day. I prefer first thing in the morning because there's nothing can get in the way of it, which is what many ambitious entrepreneurs, they need that. It's where nothing can get in the way, because if you're an ambitious entrepreneur, what happens all the time, often, is that as soon as you start doing work stuff, you can't stop doing work stuff because you get into it and you don't want to break away from it. That's why you can start the day by doing your self-care stuff before you get into the work stuff. So when you get to the work stuff, you don't have a reason to need to break away from it. So understand something. If you fail as a person, meaning if your person fails, I'm not saying your body, I'm saying your whole person. So that includes your body, your mind, your spirit, your health, mental health, physical health, all of that. If your person fails, your body gives up on you, or your mind gives up on you, you won't be able to achieve anything professionally. I don't care how much you got going for you, you ain't achieving nothing if your body falls apart. If your business fails, you can start another one. Now, any of you ever had a business that failed? Okay, you can start another one, right? Any of you ever sold a business? You can start another one. Any of you ever got fired from a job or left a job? Okay, you can go get another one, right? Okay. Any of you ever had a body or mind fail on you? Can you just go buy another one? Can you just go apply for another one? No, you can't. It's over. That's why your personal health comes before your professional work. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is balancing your professional ambition and your self-care. And balance does not mean 50-50, by the way. Number 2, you don't need to spend all day working to feed your ambition. All right, some of you may think that this is what you need to do. Some of you are actually living this out, and you're spending all day working because you have got some idea in your head that this is what it means to be ambitious. What you need, instead of spending all day working, instead is you need to get all your stuff done every day, which only takes all day if you allow it to take all day. Let's remember what Parkinson's law says. Parkinson's law says that a task will expand or contract given the amount of time that is allotted for it to be done. In other words, you give yourself 30 minutes to finish a task, you will finish it in 30 minutes, if you really mean 30 minutes. You give yourself 3 hours to finish that exact same task, you will take 3 hours to get it done. Not 33 hours, 3 hours to get it done. We conform to our own expectations. This is why I talk so much about expectations. If you expect to take 30 minutes, it'll take 30 minutes. You expect to take an hour, you'll take an hour. This is how it works. This is a point of discipline. And we all know that discipline is a result of what? Let's all say it together. Discipline is a result of structure. Structure creates discipline. When you have the right structure in place, you can get done what needs to get done consistently without running yourself into the ground. Unless you so choose to run yourself into the ground because you're not following your own structure. The only time you get ran into the ground is when you're not following your own structure. You have a structure that you're simply not following. If you find that your structure is running you into the ground, even though you have a structure, you probably need help at altering that structure and the systems that are governing that structure. Or you need to do something about the non-existent systems that allowed this faulty structure to exist and to be running you ragged, running you into the ground. Being ambitious in your business, everybody, does not mean that you need to work around the clock. Ambition does not mean you work every minute that you could possibly be working. Ambition means you have a strong desire to achieve something. Now, there's a lot of different ways to achieve things. What's the fastest way to achieve an outcome, folks? Again, we talked about this in yesterday's masterclass. Use your money to buy time. So ambition does not mean I work harder than everybody else or I work more hours than everybody else. That's the elementary school idea of ambition. That I just got to put in more hours than everybody. All right, more hours does not necessarily mean more effectiveness. Effective means what produces the outcome. There are people who are producing more outcomes in 2 hours of work per day than you're producing in 10. Why? Because they have a better process than you. They have insights that you don't have. They have access to assets and information and insights and processes and ways of thinking that you simply don't have access to. So you got to work 5 times harder and you still are not matching up to their level of production and effectiveness. It's not about putting in more work just to say that you did it. And this is how many people operate in life. Let me just put in more work. All right, no, that's not the answer, because eventually you're going to run out of time. You don't have unlimited time. You can't just keep outworking everybody. Eventually, there's only so much time you can work in a day for every human being. So if your structure is running you into the ground, then again, you need to make some adjustments. Being ambitious does not mean working around the clock. It means working on the things that actually produce the outcomes that you want to achieve. If you have a strong desire to achieve an outcome, then you should be working on the things that produce that outcome, not necessarily working as hard as you can just to say that you did. Understand, most of the things that you're doing ain't doing anything for you. Remember the 80-20 principle, Pareto's principle. 80% of your results come from 20% of your inputs. So most of the stuff that we do every single day has very little effect on our overall outcomes. You need to know what are the things that are producing outcomes, what are the things that are not. You need to do more of the things that do produce outcomes and less of the things that do not. And this can save you a ton of time while you produce actually more results. There is a way in business to make more money by doing less work. How do you do that? Well, there's a lot of pieces I can give you to that. One of the ways is focus on the things that produce the highest return on investment and less on the things that produce little return on investment. The challenge with this for many people is that the things that produce a little bit of return on investment are usually the easiest things to do and the things that we're most comfortable doing. They become habitual for us. So we're comfortable doing them because they feel fun and we feel like we're doing something. We're active, but we're not being effective. We're being productive, but not effective. You can produce a lot of those 20% activities, but are they doing anything to move the needle of your business? That's a more important question. Instead, you need to focus on doing the 80% activities. Those are the things that produce, when I say 80%, things that produce 80% of your results. You may not need to put in nearly as much time with those things, but you get more results with those things. This is how you can work less and make more money. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is balancing your professional ambition and self-care. Number 3, definition of ambition. Here it is. A strong desire to do or achieve something, typically requiring determination and hard work. That's the definition. So you need to make a plan for yourself. Your ambitions, you need to make a plan to match that ambition. Remember that plans are useless, but planning is priceless. The time that you put into planning what you're going to do will make it easier for you to execute on what you're doing. The time you put into planning it makes it easier to execute. Why? Because you'll be able to get more done in less time, because you will spend less time in contemplation, less time in figuring, more time in execution and production. Simply because you took time to think about it. You don't need to think and plan and contemplate while you're in the moment of acting, because you already did that. You did that at the beginning. That's why you plan up front, so you can go straight into the activity and you don't have to keep going back and forth between action and thinking, action and thinking, action and thinking. Do all the thinking up front so you go straight into the action. And once you create the momentum of action and you have the focus of action, focus becomes a force multiplier. You get more done in less time, simply because you can stay on one thing. You're not switching between tasks of thinking, acting, thinking, acting, thinking, acting. You just go straight into the activity and stay there because you already did the thinking up front. We call this doing your homework. We talked about this in, let me see what episode that was where I talked about doing your homework. For those of you who haven't heard that episode, it's episode 1925, do your homework. Ambition is not simply, again, running around like a chicken with its head cut off, doing stuff just because you want to achieve an outcome. That's not what ambition is. Ambitious people set themselves up for success by doing the pre-work, the homework, that makes the execution a lot easier. Let me say that sentence again. Ambitious people set themselves up for success by doing the homework that makes execution easier. You should consider self-care part of your homework. The self-care that I do every morning to take care of myself, my person, allows me to do the stuff that I do after the self-care is done. The business stuff, the professional stuff, the work on your game, incorporated stuff is served by the fact that I do the Baldwin stuff to start the day. Taking care of me allows me to do the stuff that gives value to you. But if I didn't do the stuff that took care of me, because I needed that time to do more work, well, eventually I'm burning the candle at both ends. I won't be as good to give you value because I'm not doing anything to make sure that I remain a valuable individual. See, if I don't have value, I can't give it to you. You can't give what you don't have. So if I'm not taking care of myself, then I'm not in a position to do anything that's going to help you take care of you. How can I tell you anything that's going to help you if I'm not even doing anything to help me? So I take care of me first, and that puts me in a position to be able to take care of you or give you stuff that will help you take care of you. And that's why I'm giving you this message. Let's recap today's class, which is balancing professional ambition and self-care. This is for those of you who are very ambitious about your work, but at the same time, you want to know how can you balance taking care of yourself with that ambition. And this is really just changing the equation for a lot of you who think one thing when it comes to being ambitious, but it actually is something different. Point number 1, understand that you cannot be driven without a vehicle. You got to have a vehicle to be driven. This is a metaphor. That means you and your person is the vehicle. If you don't take care of your vehicle, the wheels are going to fall off, the engine is going to fail, the transmission is going to start slipping, and eventually the car is not going to start. And when your car stops starting, it's a wrap for you. They have funerals for people when their car stops starting. Everybody following my metaphor here? So make sure you take care of the vehicle so you can continue to be driven. You are the vehicle, and you come before the drive starts. You got to take care of the car. Number 2, you don't need to spend all day working to feed your ambition. What you need is get all your stuff done every day, which only takes all day if you allow it to take all day. And this is a structural and systematic challenge. When you get the structure and the systems right about what you're doing and how you're doing it, then it becomes a lot easier to get more done in less time. This again is looking at the structure of what you're doing, not let me just put more work, just think it in the car, the vehicle metaphor, pressing your foot harder and harder on the gas. No, how about you just get a better route, a better path for how to get from point A to point B, so you don't have to drive 100 miles per hour. You can drive 50 miles per hour and get there sooner than if you drove 100, simply because you got a better route, you got a better path because you have a map. Where does the map come from? Using your money to invest in insight. Number 3, ambition. Strong desire to achieve something, typically requiring determination and hard work. Make a plan for yourself. You have a strong desire to achieve an outcome, that you should be thinking about that outcome deeply, which means you take the time to plan out how you're going to achieve it. You don't just run into it and hope that you figure it out along the way. This is what a lot of people do in business. This is why a lot of people fail in business, simply because they don't have a plan. They're just randomly doing stuff. And if you are talented enough and the timing is right, you're lucky enough with the timing, you can succeed in business to a point. But when that timing stops working for you and that talent, eventually you get to the end of it, then eventually you're gonna have to come up with something else. And if you don't have anything else, you got a problem. That's what you're gonna come up with, is a problem. And this is what happens with a lot of people as well. They start out with some beginner's luck, as we say, simply because they had the right time and the right talent and the right market and the right product. I could even say when I started selling my own things, I didn't really have a plan. I just had the right timing, talent, product, and market, and things worked. And then when things weren't working so much anymore, I had to really start getting strategic and really start thinking about, what exactly am I doing here? Do I have a plan of action? I had to go back and create a plan of action that I hadn't created in the beginning. This is why I'm telling you, don't make that same mistake, because look, you might not have the time, the talent, or the market, or the product. So you could start off at zero. All right, you don't have any of those good things working in your favor. So you need to have a plan anyway. Even if you have all that stuff, you have a plan, you will be able to achieve much higher results, and they will be sustainable, like we talked about in yesterday's masterclass. Especially for those of you who are side hustlers, you need sustainable results, not just random results. With all that said, text me, tell me the best idea you got from today's class. What are you going to do different based on what you heard? My number is 305-384-6894. You also get my daily motivation once you text me and you're in my text community. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. That's where you can work with me directly. Those of you who are entrepreneurs, those of you who are ambitious, those of you who are professionals, those of you who want to be helped with your mindset. We help you install what we call a bulletproof mindset. You want the business builder framework for your business. You want the Work on Your Game system so you can systematize your actions, and you want to be held accountable. We have a framework called Next Mission about being accountable and executing on a consistent basis, plus a whole lot more that I don't even need to go into right now. Go to WorkOnYourGameUniversity.com. That's the only place where you need to go to work with me directly, to be coached, so you can invest in your business. You can start doing things in a professional way instead of doing things like an amateur. Again, WorkOnYourGameUniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.